Hello and welcome to the channel where in the last few hours we've managed to get Leeds United's first Premier League win, 16 years. Quite the game, not good for the heart. Sure, neutrals loved it, but certainly from a Leeds perspective, it was brilliant to get a win, but the manner in which it came about, it was nervy. There was a lot of moments in the game where very stressful. Looked comfortable, made it difficult for ourselves, but we've a fair bit to talk about again. But the most important thing, obviously, is getting the win. So, just quickly running through the game, it was a great start. A goal from a corner. They're quite rare for Leeds, so it was obviously great to go 1-0 up with a corner. Thought we were doing quite well in that sort of opening phase of the game. Even after going 1-0 up, we still we looked the more likely. And then obviously Fulham got the equaliser against the run of play. I know there's been a bit of debate about the penalty, but for me it was a penalty. It's one of those. It's just such a stupid penalty to give away. The guy's literally running away from the goal. He's posing absolutely no threat. Cock went in with the slide tackle. He did, we can see he tried to pull out of it, but the fact is he slid in. He's obviously in control of what his body's doing, and he made contact with a man. It's a clear penalty to me. A clear mistake on his part. But for me there was little doubt. So that was one each. Fortunately, then we got the ahead again, with a penalty, which for me actually was less of a penalty than what their penalty was. I thought it was very soft. There was literally minimal contact, and Bamford went down. But based on a few unfortunate situations last week, I'm certainly not going to complain. It played a big part in us winning the game. And there will no doubt be times this season where we're all sitting here furious with a referee. So we'll take that wee bit of fortune. Obviously, Click done brilliant to finish it. As cool as he always does. So after the break, then we come out flying. Really good. Impressed. Very impressive. Very impressive. Start to the second half. Bamford, great finish. 3-1 up. 4-1. Another a great run by Bamford down the left, and a brilliant finish by Costa. So two very good finishes for Costa. I thought he had a great game today, actually. And as did Bamford. Goal and an assist and 2 goals for Costa. So I thought they done great. At that point, it just it looked brilliant. 4-1 up, back in the Premier League, loving life. And but then I don't know, we just seemed to really go to bits a wee bit. 4-2. That goal, I thought Dallas was a wee bit poor for that. Stuart Dallas is a player I'm really fond of. Since he's came to Leeds. He's like, you can nearly guarantee him a 7 out of 10, every week. But that goal, I think, did expose him a wee bit. He was kind of, as a left back, that guy gets down in the inside of him, gets in goal side, and Dallas should maybe be 3 or 4 yards in further. So as the guy's on the outside of him, and once the guy gets inside, he's never able to recover, and it's a good finish from the guy. But I was disappointed with Dallas on that one. 4-3, I was a wee bit disappointed with the goalkeeper. He come out and kind of flapped at nothing. The ball was away over his head, and he didn't really, it basically made it for Mitrovic is deadly in the air as it is, and the way the goalkeeper was, he came out off his line and just left it where it was an empty net that Mitrovic had to hit it into, and I thought he could have done better. At least if he stayed on his line, Mitrovic maybe still scores, but he makes it more difficult for him. I do like a goalkeeper that's in command of his area, but there's also knowing when to do it and when not to. And it was clear that he was never getting to that ball, so I was a wee bit disappointed with that. But he's still young, 20. He's only 20, so he's young, and hopefully he'll learn from it. after the 4-3, like we just looked completely out. We looked like genuinely was like, are we even going to get a point out of this here? Are they going to? But to be fair to the lads, they did, like, they kind of put the foot on the ball, and they didn't really allow many more chances. They kind of got the ball, played a lot of the game in Fulham's half, and thankfully we managed to hang on for, three vital points. These are the games we need to win. Need to win home games. Need to win games against teams that are potentially going to finish lower than us in the league. That's how you're going to start pushing up places. So I thought it was a great win, great 3 points. Just there was obviously question marks about how it happened, but I'll touch on a few of them issues as I go the through the video. So the first point I wanted to make, obviously Pablo got injured in the warm up, and it meant Rodrigo started. I have to say I was really disappointed with him. I know, like, he's probably not up to fitness wise, and I know he wasn't expecting to start, and he had the 90 minutes during the week against Hull in the cup game, still on his legs, which, obviously there was so many changes made and stuff, and he's the only one then that played that started the two games. But I thought his performance was quite worrying. I thought it's definitely not going to be anywhere near the standard that Bielsa expects. There was parts of the game where they played Bamford as the striker, and like Rodrigo come in in that role that, like, sometimes Tyler Roberts plays and sometimes Pablo plays. And like, it's all very well, like, you're the creative hub of the team, and, like, you're in the middle there, and you're trying to create opportunities and create chances, but you also have to put in a shift. And there were times whenever I was watching Rodrigo, and he was coming back, like, there's no doubt about that. He was making the runs, but it felt like a token effort. There were certain times where in the first half, obviously, because he came off at half time, but Fulham were knocking the ball about, and I was watching him, and I was, like, thinking, like, he's running down to, like, close the space, but it's not a sprint. It's like a half jog, just waiting, so as that the ball gets passed out in my area and make it look like I've went to try and win it. But I'm only kind of doing this as a token effort, and at the time I thought to myself, there's absolutely no way that Bielsa's going to stand for that. And sure enough, he didn't, and hooked him off at half time. And thought Roberts, to be fair to him, I never really thought that Roberts was going to have any impact for us in the Premier League, but so far, he's been the one that's performed the best in that position. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that over the next few weeks. But definitely, I think at the minute, from what I've seen of Rodrigo, I know that he'll have to get fit. But from what I've seen of him so far, I think if he's going to play, he's going to have to play in the striker's role. And at the minute, Bamford, as much as we criticise Bamford in the Championship, two goals in 2 games. He also set up, he's created opportunities and stuff. So I think he still has a shirt, and I think Rodrigo really needs to prove himself to break into the team. So moving on from that, one thing that actually worries me a wee bit more than the fact that we've conceded 7 goals is our scoring efficiency this season. It was one of the things that everybody talked about last year, was like Leeds weren't taking their chances. If Leeds were taking their chances, they'd be scoring all these goals and they'd be beating all these teams in the Championship. This season, it's been really, really good. We've, like, I think today we had, like, maybe 7 shots on target and scored 4. Last week, I think, did we have 3 shots on target and scored 3? So, like, you're looking at 10 shots on target, 7 goals. You're really taking your chances there, which is brilliant, and it's something, it's a real positive for the club, but it's also something that we cannot keep up with. There's no team in the world that's going to be keeping up with that kind of efficiency. Like, this season so far, we've been fantastic at taking our opportunities, but it's not going to continue. It can't continue. It's not because, we're playing in a bigger league. It's just because it's just football, and you don't generally, score as many chances as what we've been doing at the minute. So it's something that we are going to have to, there's going to be games where we're not going to take all our chances. We're not going to score as many. And then obviously we are going to have to tighten up at the back. Um, with Leeds, the way we play, like nobody wants like Bielsa to take the rein the team in a bit. Like it's why we've got to the Premier League. It's why we're so good, so interesting, so fun to watch. Is the fact that we're playing on the front foot and we're taking the game to teams and we're not coming and parking the bus and doing whatever. And it's something that long may it continue. I think it's brilliant to watch, and as a fan of the club, it's it just makes it so much better. It's something to be really proud of. But it just that there's certain areas then that you need to improve on. Today, I was a wee bit disappointed with the possession. 50.2% possession, which obviously we just slightly had more of the ball. But whenever you consider that, like last week we went and I think we had 52 or 53% of the possession at Anfield against the defending champions, you could maybe expect to have a wee bit more of the ball against the team who's in who got promoted and finished actually below us last season. Like there's only two teams in this Premier League that in the terms of where teams finished in the English football ladder, West Brom and Fulham are the only two that finished below us last year. So these are the games where you would think that we're going to 75% success pass rate, successful passes. I thought that's poor overall. You know, there was just times where I think we just needed just keep the ball sometimes. You know what I mean? Whenever we have the ball, they can't be doing anything, and it just seemed it was a wee bit hot potato. We got a wee bit carried away sometimes, and like probably the last 5 or 10 minutes was the time whenever we done that the best during the game. Actually, like we got the 4-3, and it was one thing. Then I was kind of looking at it and thinking, we need to hold on to the ball here and kill this game off, which eventually we did. But ultimately, like you look at our defense, and the cock, he's a new German guy, and he's I think he's our youngest defender. But the other three are Dallas, Ayling, and Cooper. They're all 29, and I don't think any of them have played in the Premier League so far. So that they're all being challenged probably to the most they ever have in their careers. So it's going to be difficult for if we the way we play and the way we press. Part of our defending has to be at the front, and I thought Fulham were getting at us too easy. Obviously, it's one thing to concede 4 to Liverpool, but to concede 3 against Fulham at home was disappointing. And I think with this style of play, as I say, don't change anything. But whenever we have the ball, we need to be better on the ball, and we need to be better at retaining the ball. Just purely because that's how the top teams defend. If you want to take the next step, so we play this style of football, we play this brand of football, which is brilliant to watch. But the teams that are playing that at the top level are having a lot more of the ball than what we had today, and I think that's something that we need to look out for. Moving forward. That said, I just want to sort of look at some of the players. Obviously, it'd be very easy. Costa 2 goals. Thought he was really good. Thought Bamford was brilliant, goal and an assist. His all round play was good. But the one player who I thought had a very good game today and that stood out for me. And one player who I criticised him last week because I thought I expected better of him. He was the player last week I thought maybe could have done a bit more, and it was Calvin Phillips. But today I thought he done well. Not necessarily the wee touching and a lot of the passes and all that there. But I thought he was a good block in front of the defence, which obviously, it's a new defence, new partnership there at centre back. Obviously with Cooper's injury, they've never had the opportunity to play with each other before. But I thought just how we look at his stats, he had 2 key passes, he made 6 tackles, 1 interception and 4 clearances. So from that, obviously there's the passes, which was great. But 6 tackles, 1 interception, 4 clearances. That's good numbers for a defensive midfielder. He's providing a real block there, and Obviously, going the other way, then there's the two key passes, and he also 3 out of 9 crosses met their intended target, and 3 out of 7 long balls met their intended target, which is good numbers. For the position that he's playing in, it was we overall like his passing and stuff was his numbers were kind of low, but at the same time he was trying things. It's hard to criticize a player. Whenever he's actually like it's one thing like playing all these sideways balls all the time and keeping possession, but he was trying things. But sometimes maybe just the way the game was going, he maybe could have put his foot on the ball a wee bit more and just slowed things down. But these are areas like I've no doubt Bielsa's looking at today, and the places that he wants to improve will be screaming out at him, and I've absolutely no doubt that he'll address it. But getting 3 points back in the Premier League for the first time in 16 years, it's a big day for Leeds. It's a proud day for Leeds. Delighted, obviously, with the result. Very, very nervous at the end, but delighted with the result. Obviously, next week now with Sheffield United, Yorkshire Derby. It'll be another hard game. But hopefully we can bring this momentum, because I think after that it's maybe Man City, and it's probably going to be difficult to get any points off them. But hopefully we can improve as we go on. But yeah, so that's all I have for now. But 4-3 win for Leeds, first win in 16 years in the Premier League. So if that's not a reason for all the Leeds fans to enjoy their Saturday night, I don't know what is. Enjoy yourselves, and marching on together.